Hello everybody, my name is Demon Eye, and today I'm going to be showing you a bit of an odd video, really. But it's basically how to start. Not how to start playing the game, but how to start in, if you've, in a game. I'll explain it to you when I get there. Basically, I'm going to explain, once you hear that sound, what should you do. That big foghorn. Now you notice I haven't done anything. That's because I'm doing a tutorial here. Usually, the first thing you want to do, press the X button once. It'll give you a mine. Place it. Now, this is because of the ZXCV hotkeys. Z is materials, which virtually no one uses. X is devices. C is technology, and V is weapons. These will help you a lot. If you press them multiple times, it scrolls through. Like X once is the mine, X twice is the wind turbine, X three times is this, and you'll notice it does keep going back. It's nice-ish. It's also annoying. It's easier. It makes it easier to memorize how to get to things, but a lot harder to get to something later, like the repair station, which isn't really needed. I see a lot of people using this. It's only really good if they have a smoke machine or a smoke bombs, because it gets rid of those fast. Now usually after you've placed the mine, you want to almost immediately click on this gunner and press Q, which is the sell button. Now you don't have to sell them if you really don't want to, but generally it is better to have the resources than not to. And then after that, what you want to do is you come up here to the, you click on this joint. If this is for the vanilla configuration. If you want to do it for something else, I would recommend something similar, but not exactly the same. No two maps are exactly the same, but this is the vanilla configuration. Now, usually you want to click on this joint and press Q, and then click on this and press Q as well. It'll sell all of that and give you 200 metal. That is 100 metal away from another mine, but that's not what you want to get it on. Usually after that, it is best to drag this and pull it out to do that, and then click on this foundation and pull it out like that. And then pull these both up to here. Now, a lot of people do something like this, where they connect it to the ground. That is not recommended. Because you'll notice, right there you see the cost of 10 metal and 49 energy, but right next to it is 50 metal and 400 energy. That is the cost of a foundation. And unless you're Buster, that will always be there, and it is very expensive. That is 1/6 of a mine, which could get you more mines and more resources and more weapons and more things to, destroy the enemy with. Economy is very important in this game. So if you're buying something that is, a decent chunk of a mine, like 1/6, then it is probably not good. Now, after all this, usually you want to press C and get either the workshop or the armory. If you're going for the armory, I'd recommend building this up 2 taller so that it hides it from your opponent. Now, it is not required that you have to hide stuff from your opponent, but if it's hanging out the back, they'll see what you're building and they'll know what you're doing. And for instance, if you build this, say you're going for a rocket rush, they'll build a lot of anti-air. Yeah, usually it just gives away the strategy. In a strategy game like this, that's not very good. Now, after that, I like getting a platform for... After that, you're basically free to do whatever. In fact, pretty much everything before this, you're basically free to do whatever. If you wanted to, you could build 5 mines. That is not recommended, because that means that the enemy team will have, weapons faster than you. And well, that's nice that you have, a big economy. Big economy is nothing without a gun behind it to shoot the other guy. Now, usually after this, I like to build turbines, because like I said, economy is important. Now, this strut right here is 3 long. And you'll notice, say I put a turbine on here, no matter how far I put it away from there, I cannot place it, because it's being blocked by this. But if I put a turbine, say here, really close, and then right there, it fits. The reasoning for this is you can only have 1 structure per strut, which is what these are called. Now, turbines are about 1.75 grid spaces, So I usually like to do, go away, is I like to do this really right here, and then build this back too. So then you can do this and get it as far over this way as you can on the one strut, and then put this here right there, and it fits. And then usually from there I'll just go up here and put another one right there, and 3 turbines is enough to get you started until you've got weapons. So then you just put it down and it works. You'll notice this, by the way, right here isn't part of the tutorial. That's just me putting it there so I don't die. Generally, what I do after this is I put this up because it blocks my core a bit from taking direct damage, and also it lets me do you notice he's been shooting at my turbines, and that's because, like I said, eco is important. Usually what's a good idea is to, just build this up. That doesn't defend it from anything but mortars. And after that, I like to go for what's called the sandbag defense. Instead of putting a turbine here or something, I build this up like that, and then up here. It should be roughly as tall as this. Where the middle strut is doesn't really matter all too much. As long as it equals this height in the end, it is fine. And then you press the X button 5 times, or press it once and click this, which is faster, and what I do a lot. And then you can put some sandbags there. And sandbags are virtually free. They don't cost any metal. They're just energy. And they have a really good, they got a lot of health. They're heavy, but they got health. So, yeah, after that, I like beefing up the base. In fact, I'm going to get rid of all this to show you guys how I do it. Usually, what I see a lot of people do is this. They do that, and then they start dragging it up here, which is good. It defends your core, it defends your weapons and whatnot. But this right here is the problem. If they get a cannon shot right there, your entire base will collapse underneath its own weight, which is not good. So I usually like doing that. It's not much, but it will save you from a cannon shot, so it's good enough. Another thing a lot of people don't do is right here, cross bracing, where you do this so that it's an X shape, so that you have more structural integrity. You can also do it by just grabbing this and dragging down. It would seem I've been lit on fire. And yeah, you only really need it in the bottom 2 areas, but if you're building particularly high with a bunch of weapons, you might want to go a bit higher. Now, it's not really worth it to cross brace here, but I'm doing it anyway. Because, yeah, this is the tutorial. I don't intend on winning this. In fact, I'm going to reset it to give you an example. Now, usually this has all happened before 7 minutes have passed, but I'm going to show you what a generally fast start is. You'll notice I didn't go down here, click devices, and then click mine. I just pressed X, and it's miles faster. And then you immediately go and you sell all this. This is not a tutorial on exactly how you should start it and how everyone's starting, and how the only way to win the game is, because that would be unfun, that would be sad. The game wouldn't be fun if everyone had to do the exact same thing in order to get a chance to win. Now, usually, you get the mine down, build all this back for technology. I like going for an armory early on, because that lets me get flak, which is good for, anti-air. And then you go up to build this. Now you're probably wondering, why am I building this 2 grid spaces high instead of 1, or incredibly short, or really any distance that is minimum? That's because I personally like to put a sniper in there, usually without the doors, because it's 3 grid lengths or grid spaces long, which is a perfect range for the sniper. I don't think it's exactly 3 long, but I do know it is long enough where it fits in there almost perfectly. Now, yeah. Then I just go with this. It doesn't need to be all the way on, so you don't need to build this and then build this. It's fine if it's not. There's nothing really precise about this kind of start. And then, yeah, just build up. While you wait for that to finish building, build this up. That was wrong, whatever. It's fine. There we go. You'll notice the top one's very squashed. It's fine. Like I said, doesn't matter too much. As long as the sandbags fit, it is fine. Now I'm going to cross brace these because this is like the center of my base. And yeah, usually when building a base, there are three main areas you want to defend. That is the bottom, so they don't knock out your foundation, your core, so they don't, shoot your core directly, and your weapons, which usually go on top or in the back if you're doing swarm missiles. Now, usually, after you've done all the fancy stuff, preferably before 2 minutes 30, you can get it down a lot faster. If you're going for heavy weapons, you want to get your heavy weapons tech down. If you're going to do like a rocket rush, or a mortars or whatnot, where you have an upgrade center, it is not required to have one of these two to put down that technology. So you can, as soon as you can afford it, put down an upgrade center. Usually, after you put your technology down, you want to go and place a mine right after that, because technology takes a really long time to build, roughly long enough for a mine to be built and for it to pay itself off. But I can afford a mine now, another mine. Should I put it down? Probably not, because this is halfway built. And if you want to get a weapon down, you do want to have a good chunk of stuff. Now, another general tip is you always want to have more than one battery, because generally, floating energy is fine. But say you're building a howitzer, it costs, well, howitzers need more. Say you're building cannons, it costs exactly 5,000 energy, which means that, generally, say you have an energy shield, which costs energy constantly, and then you put down this, it will turn off your energy shield because you don't have the resources to run it. Now, energy shields are pretty nice, but do note that every one of these, on average, will take about a full turbine to power it, which is, it's not much, but it adds up, especially when turbines need so much space to work well. Now, I've got the munitions plant, and this is why you don't put down the other mine, because I can put down a cannon almost instantly, but I'm not going to do that because this is just a tutorial. Now, shields are pretty useful. They reflect lasers, which can damage the enemy base with their own weapons, and completely nullify lasers in general. They will block machine gun fire, and they will block 20mm cannons, which is really good against a scatter shot. However, again, they cost energy. Now, it's not exactly one turbine per. Like, this one's giving me 30, this thing's only taking 20, but it's a good rule of thumb. Now, what some people do instead of a sandbag defense like this is, actually, before I do that, if you're getting heavily hit with, stuff like rockets, like, any form of thing that can be shot down with anti-air, just putting down a bunch of gunners, which just press V once and you'll get a gunner right there, which is really handy. And it basically, if you have at least 3, it basically shuts it down. It's really good at doing that. Now, some people, I'm actually going to sell this guy because he's going to fall to his death. What some people like to do is build an energy shield in front of their turbines. And this works. It's great because it does stop stuff. That was an accident. It does stop stuff like cannons and whatnot from, hitting your turbines. Because cannons will one-shot the energy shield, but it does, like, almost immediately. It absorbs an entire cannon shot, which is 3,000 energy, which is a lot. This works, but it does dampen your energy production because it is another one of these, which is why sandbag defenses work. It's a one-time cost. It's basically free. It just works. Now, some things I like to do is put a little flak here. Now, generally with like a laser rush or something, you'll put a laser down there. Or a lot of people will. I don't recommend it, personally. Because a lot of weapons, like lasers, flak cannons, they explode when they get shot. And that explosion right next to your core is going to damage or even kill your core. I've died to having a cannon too close to my core and it getting shot. Like, that's why I always like putting a sniper here, because snipers don't explode. They just die. So they die, but they don't take me out with them, which is nice. It's great. It means they're not vengeful. Now, great foresight by him, or wall hacks, but it is an AI, so I don't think he has wall hacks. But, yeah, usually into the round, you don't need 5 mines to make it work. In fact, there is a rush that has only 3 mines, and that's Swarm Rush because swarm missiles take up mine space. But that's another can of worms. If you really want a heavy turtle, you can do what I call the suicide strategy, where you sell off the metal in the front of your base, turn it into wood, and get 6 mines. Now, the reason this is suicide is because all they need is one laser to shoot right there, and you're dead. That is it. You cannot survive that. Like, it is physically impossible. Like, it just doesn't work. Now, usually, right now I'd be in big trouble because I've been floating a lot of resources. But again, this is just a tutorial. I'm not trying to do anything. Some general base tips are if your base is going forward a lot, get a rope, stick it down. It'll actually, like, say one of these is red, just spam ropes, and it'll take the wave off of your front and spread it more evenly on your foundation, which does generally, it helps. It's a good, cheap way to reinforce your foundation without, like, getting rid of mines or something. Now, I'm going to restart, and I'm going to show you guys, how exactly to do it. A lot of starts should be like clockwork. You do it fast, and it works. You don't need to copy my start exactly. My start is loosely based on someone else's, being Project and Curse is I'd say, I'm pretty sure the biggest Forts YouTuber there is. Great content. Now, I'm not going to talk much for this. I'm probably going to put the music over it, because it takes a lot of concentration, like a solid chunk. So, yeah. You'll see how fast it is. It generally takes like 30 seconds to get a good start off. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side.